All right, I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and see if we are transmitting over the interwebs here. I know I'm starting a little bit earlier, but it sure looks like we're all. Yep, we are. All right, cool. Sounds coming through. Nothing messed up there. We're talking Talladega here on this one. Now, obviously, these are my favorite races. I enjoy going through them. I think we can specifically talk through this one. I think there's some things about this one that makes it a quite interesting and might be very useful to go through and talk about stuff. So let's go ahead and make sure I got enough up on this one here. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to talk. Now, I haven't finished the projections yet. We're gonna do that live. We're gonna talk through on how, obviously, these races have been my most successful races, even before everything that's happened this year. I've probably I can't even think of the number of probably what I've made on plate races and stuff. The only downside for this weekend is how small the contests are, specifically tomorrow. Um, very, very small contest. When we look at today's contest and everything, now also, I want to back it up a little bit. I give the example of, hey, I use SaberSim. SaberSim has won me a lot of money. Okay, hey, sometimes I play sports that I know nothing about. Okay, sometimes I win. Most of the time I lose. Whatever the case may be, this is an example of just being transparent of things when it don't work out. I played the college football slate. I have no idea who this individual is, and I have no idea why he is 44% owned, and I have no idea why he's scoring so badly. But I have 66 lineups, and half of them have this individual in it. Yet again, I give the example of a lot of people, run SaberSim, run whatever they are. They don't know what they're playing with and stuff like that, and they're just they don't know ball, or they don't know anything related to whatever um, sport is being talked about here. Yet again, you can take advantage of that if you know what's going on, if whatever the case may be. I just wanted to explain that and stuff. When we're looking at Talladega, actually, before we do that, let's no, I didn't mean to show. Just gonna act like I'm probably not playing those lineups. When we are, why do I have two of these open? When we're looking at this race today, I mean, this contest is pretty close to filling. I don't believe that we're gonna get a second. Um, that's not very enjoyable. Oh shit, I need to get into this stupid guy. 23, 29, we still got time. Where the fuck is my phone at? I need to go ahead and reserve into that contest really fast before it fills. So give me a moment here. Um, but as we go through and look at this contest and stuff, I don't know if it'll let me open up if I've already. Okay, cool. When we're looking at this contest, I mean, this is 5,800 people. Let's really talk about that while I get this squared away. And why that number is important, okay? When we're looking at 58 5882. So okay, so we're gonna leave this here and discuss this in further detail. But I wanted to bring that up, and this is going to be the main thing we're talking about today of this slate here. We are 2 hours away from lock, plenty of time. I mean, it's a plate race. We don't we're not really concerned about the nitty gritty and stuff. And I mean, I make projections, but I don't even end up using them. In the sense that most people use projections. Now, let me just get this reserved here. So let's go ahead and walk through and get a feel for everybody where everybody's at. Okay, obviously you're expecting, and we'll even dick around with fast laps and laps led, but we're going to get a feel of where the field is going to go. We're going to get a feel of what where people should finish, where these drivers should perform. Yet again, yesterday's great um, example of a race that doesn't have wrecks. They didn't wreck. Nobody wrecked. They tried to, but they didn't. Nobody crashed. It's doing green in the end. Where do drivers like that, or where are people going to finish in races like that? Because that's how most races are going to play out, and that's how most situations are going to give you drivers who are going to be scoring well, because it's going to most likely be guys who can ride up front, finish well. If they don't wreck out, those drivers are going to be the ones scoring well. So obviously Jesse Love, you got to keep him up in the top 5. The JGR, RCR guys, these faster guys, you can give them a running position inside the top 12 or whatever and stuff. And I think that's a fairly accurate place to kind of goof around here, or not goof around, but where people are probably going to end up sitting and running at and stuff. So like Eric Almirola, Justin Allgaier, Jones, all these guys are, you would expect them to run, very well in in these races and stuff. Yet again, Brendan Queen never ran a race. Going to be very tough. No practice. I would expect Queen to most likely run an issue today. If we're betting on people to crash, I think Brendan Queen is probably a good, a decent, or high likelihood of being involved in pretty severe variance today and stuff. So obviously, as we go through, and we are just kind of, and I'm not even shotgunning here. I mean, this is how I look at stuff. As we just go through, we're 16 drivers in. These are drivers who are expected to run in the top 12 all day, run in the top 15. They have good cars, good equipment, and we look at what they're expected to score. We haven't even done anything else, with where, they're expected to, or what they're expected to score. And we see, hey, man, this makes sense of why, projections would lean toward these guys, having a much higher projection than other people, especially when we look at the, at the worst equipment and stuff. Let's go ahead and kind of fly by these guys here, dude. Then you get to, like, David Starr and the Joey Gate, like, on 35. Like, we're not going to expect these guys to really do much and stuff. All right, here we are. Okay, then so we get to Tanner Gray, right, or Taylor Gray. Okay, they had to change the transmission. Obviously, I mean, this is JG. I'm not concerned about these guys not changing transmission. These guys know what they're doing, right? Not an issue. But we have variance on where that has issues, which it shouldn't. These idiots, especially JGR, especially TRD, top tier Toyota, these guys aren't goofing around. Okay, this ain't Alpha Beta Prime. This isn't, some intern who's never touched anything before. This isn't your your guys that take 5 oil change where they take half an hour to change oil. This is top tier TRD. Everybody here should be able to get this done. We have the variance of what if his transmission isn't working, right? Onto everything. He's starting dead last. Where are the JGR cars? Where are these affiliate cars projected to run today? Projected to finish? Where are they at? We have Eric Almirola 4th, Jones 7th. I can't, William Sawalas 7th. Can't for the life of me think of another JGR car in this race. I'm giving those guys 7th. Where would I give Tanner Gray? Yeah, that's right. About 8th, 9th or whatever. He is going to be the highest owned driver. He's going to score the most points by a country mile. Okay. And this slate is decided on what happens to Taylor Gray. Now I'm entering, I'm playing 150 lineups, but even still, when I would play 20, okay, this slate is now normally it's not as defined like this. I mean, we don't even need to really worry about fast laps and laps led. I'm not going to, well, I guess we would if we're, whatever, we'll finish it here. At least the major people that I would anticipate leading. And then obviously fast laps throughout the entire field, right? Like this is what, what the race ends up looking like, right? Like you have, a random distribution of fast laps and laps led. I mean, not laps led, but you have, you have a distribution of where fast laps and stuff are going to go. think that's pretty decent. I mean, we can argue, each of these guys back here probably, easily 5 just because he's going up through the field. Oops. But this is the distribution of fast laps in these races, right? Okay, so now that we're here, okay, let's go ahead and get these on site so people can at least use them if they want to, or kind of walk, or kind of, I guess, go through it at the same time as we are. Give me a moment here. Okay, my projections are up, and this is what I'm using for this. This is what I'd use to. I mean, we're using this because so we get a feel for stuff, okay, without getting all crazy. So who are the highest projected guys on this slate? Okay, that ownership that is going to directly follow ownership. Okay, Tanner Gray, Harrison Burton, Brennan Poole, Nicholas Sanchez, Anthony Alfredo in the back of the field. Okay, and then we have all the guys who are going to be right up front and stuff, right? Anyway, back to Taylor Gray. We see country mile landslide. Okay, if this individual, if Gray is able to finish the race, he will be the highest scoring driver on the slate. If what does that mean? How does Tanner Gray finish the race? Okay, he avoids crashes. The race doesn't have crashes. He finishes where he's supposed to finish in equipment that is, top tier equipment. And where does that team typically run? Okay, where does JGR usually run in these races? Up front. Okay, so we see Taylor Gray by a country mile is probably going to be optimal today. Okay, now let's compare that with where we are in the slate, or in the slate. There's 5,800 people in this contest. Okay, this is a very small contest. Okay, we're only paying out the top 1,300. Okay, and we even go back here. Well, you don't even need to use. We'll just continue with this. Where does Taylor Gray's ownership come in at? This guy should be played in every lineup. Okay, he has virtually no negatives for his outcome. Okay, he finishes last. What does Mr. Taylor Gray give you? He gives you 3 points. Okay, Nicholas Sanchez wrecks out, finishes, loses positions, right? How many points does he lose? Let's say Mr. Sanchez finishes 32nd. Nicholas Sanchez takes away his fast lap points. Nicholas Sanchez scores 1 point. Okay, Tanner Gray has no negatives to play him today. Okay, he's going to score you whatever that was, right? Scoring you 3 points as a floor. He can't score you any less. That is not going to be the lowest score on the slate. If we look back at yesterday's slate, now I will use yesterday's slate for an example for this. How many people scored less than 3 points? Okay, and I'm sorry if you're if you're already familiar with how I do stuff, whatever. But I figured I'd go in more detail. Like I said, we have 2 hours. I think this is a rather interesting slate with how small it is and the situations that we're looking at there. We look at how many people scored less than 3 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people scored less than 3 points. Now, again, we did not have any crashes or anything. The only people who scored less than 3 points yesterday were Curry, Holmes, Hemrick, and Grant. The only people who ran into issues. Everything else went green. Blah 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 blah. Right. Also, Norm Benning scored 7 points. You probably should have played some Norm Benning. Okay, this can be made for anybody here, but specifically Taylor Gray, right here at 65. He should be in 100% of every line. He should be played to the moon and back. Safest play on the slate by far. Okay, with how small the slate is and whatever. Realistic ownership, I'm going to shotgun probably anywhere from 72 to probably, I think, 80. I think it's really difficult to not play Taylor Gray today, right? Why would he not be around 60? Why would he not be around 70? Let's take a gander really fast. And again, we got an hour and 57 minutes. Let's take a look at what SaberSim has, or what my stuff would even have, without worrying about what is it? Because I don't have ownership or anything like that. Okay, so let's see if SaberSim has anything. Please do. It'll make things a lot easier, SaberSim, if you do. We don't. Okay, so we're flying blind. That's fine. Actually, I already have my thing downloaded. That's this one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this as. Let's go to this to look at the where people are at now. Obviously, it's going to slam them in a lot, right? But still, let's walk through. Actually, we don't even need to. We can see that Gray's going to be highly owned, right? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he's 68% owned. What is that? What are we dealing with? That's nearly 4,000 people in this contest, right? The reason I'm harping on this so much is the contest is 5,800 people. Okay, you want to basically be on your own. You want to basically not have to deal with the rest of the field. You basically, if you want your, I mean, hell, even 50, but yet again, I think he comes in around closer to 70, if not higher, just because everything's going to want to play him. He's starting dead last. He checks everything off. I really would put money on him being like 76, 78. I just can't imagine that he's not. That is a huge amount of the contest that is going to have him. I think from a unique perspective, I think from a build perspective, I think everything. And again, I'm playing 150 lineups, but I already play pretty aggressive and stuff. I think I'm going to be on the side of I'm going to let Taylor Gray decide the slate. And if he works, I'm not going to have him. If he runs into issue, if he does anything wrong, yet again, he's scoring 3 points. Okay, that's going to be a significant score to overcome for a lot of. If we get Rex, he's probably, if there's 38 cars in here, he's probably going to be your 28th to 29th highest scorer. Okay, there'll probably be 9 to 11 people below him. If he scores any higher than that, I mean, he's going to be fighting to be a top 16 scorer by like default, right? But that's why I'm talking through stuff. You should probably play Taylor Gray. I'm probably just gonna take the stance of not doing that. Okay, so where else is ownership coming from, right? Where else would the ownership be? Obviously, Brennan Poole, phenomenal racer. Okay, I play races. Yet again, same argument can be made here. Okay, Poole and Gray should be your highest owned guys on the slate. It should go Gray, Burton, Poole. Pretty easy to project to predict that. I don't need anything to tell me that. But those should be the 3 highest guys. Past that, possibly Alfredo, maybe Nick. Then we might be having SaberSim or whatever optimizers throwing people farther up top. Ware, Gase, I mean Kyle Sieg, Smithley, Starr. These are the types of guys that I like back here because these guys are all pretty terrible and they're all pretty slow. And for that reason, I'm playing those guys and stuff. But I mean, that it's a plate race. Obviously, we play guys from the back of the field. We play people who aren't owned. But specifically, when you get a situation like this, to where, like just an optimal play from like across the board, man, right? Like it's his likelihood of being optimal is very equivalent to what his ownership should be, and I think Gray's optimal 76% of the time. And I think I think you just hope that he gets involved in a crash, just to get unique and stuff. At least that's what I'm gonna do. I don't feel like, yet again, Brandon, you're playing 150. Well, I mean, I would do this anyway if I was playing 20 or whatever. This is just I play plate races and stuff. I did 150 in the truck race yesterday. And you can see the type of people that I'm playing. We just didn't get a. We did not. That's not the 10. Where's the 10 at? Where's the 10 at? Oh my god, I forgot I threw the mini max in here. This is yonk. Okay, so who am I playing? Also, we didn't cash. Nobody crashed, right? But like Lane Reach is at 65, and I was gonna use specifically because he came at 65, and there was more. I think there's way more variance around Lane Riggs, and obviously, I mean, this guy almost got wrecked like 3 times, right? You look at the people that I played, like obviously, like everybody knows how I play these things, dude. Like we're playing just the absolute baboons back here. I think at least I'm just not going to play Gray and go ahead and let the field have him and try and significantly get uh I mean the plus EV line is yet again we're playing DFS. Obviously it's related to a game or a race. Obviously it's related to those outcomes, but like poker, DFS, like plus EV, like you're trying to find a significant advantage on the field. How can you specifically get better than the field, or have an advantage that the field might not be using or whatever? That answer, is to not play Gray or be underweight on him. Now it's very easy to get underweight on Gray. I think he's gonna be 68, 70. Um, and stuff. I think he's going to be higher than that. You play 30, play 40, play 50%. You can significantly get underweight on Gray. But combine that with how small this contest is. I mean, I I think you just eliminate the field and just act like he doesn't exist and play everybody else, and really not change anything else past that. Um, Not playing the guys up front. Obviously, we play guys from the back, get a significant advantage on the field, and I mean, I think this is a textbook slate that I would attack in the past, and especially when you could just find where the field is where the field is at. Um, Yet again, everybody has a 75% chance to be involved in a crash at these races, if not higher, if not 80%. Okay, ownership on this individual is going to be in that range. His his wreck percentage 80%. His optimal percentage 80%. His ownership 80%. That's a lot of variance around one guy. And when it comes down to that, I think you just take the step and not play um, Taylor Gray. And then Jay, I mean, I'm hiring everybody else. I've made several videos. I've played this on my channel, going through specifically how I play things. I mean, who am I playing? Literally everybody here. Like this is this is who I'm playing. Um, and you combine that with, it doesn't even matter what ownership these individuals get. These are dead on arrival lineups in my mind. So any ownership that any of these guys have is just, you combine that with Tanner Gray. I mean, you can get over, or you can get pretty different from the field, or not even different from the field. You can play optimally pretty easily. Um, So yeah, I mean, stack the back, play the guys who are safer. What's this? When I explain, getting if Taylor Gray crashes, he scores you 3 points, right? Joey Gase crashes, that's with a fast lap. Let's say he finishes last. Joey Gase crashes, he's scoring 1 point. It literally just comes down to math in that sense. You have any of these individuals, you have Creed. Creed crashes out, runs into issues. Hell, Creed loses. Let's say he loses 10 positions. He's scoring you 6 points. Anything less than that or anything more significant, he's in the negatives. Like you just play people who can't lose you points, and just hope people crash. And yes, it is Stanley. That's mainly it. I don't really have anything else to say. Just wanted to go live since I'm back home. And yeah, best of luck, guys. We'll see you later, and just root for the crashes, man. Go to these races, root for the crashes. That's how I look at it. You guys have a good evening or good afternoon or whatever. See you later. Bye bye.